Good day, everyone. This is Devastation, the most handsome, yakable African issues, adrenaline pumping, episode power husband. And as usual, I have beside me my most twinkle little hot baby girl.
Good day, everyone. You're welcome to the live stream today. It's a pleasure having you around on the live stream today. Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of persons are saying that we are starting very, very late today. We are starting on a very, 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 very friend is it friendly or friendly mode. We have a beautiful song that I would love to play for you before. It's called LUP 77. Okay, today we are looking at something that is going on across the globe and is actually becoming something very, very disheartening. What is it? We are looking at the rate at which people are becoming homeless across the globe, irrespective of their trace, their race, their place of birth, or the region they found themselves. We are beginning to see the numbers of families, numbers of youths, numbers of individuals that could not, or could no longer afford to have a place called home. And that is becoming something very, very pathetic because majority of the people in numerous countries of the world are seeing large numbers of people not being financially capable to take care of the what of one of the basic needs of life, which is shelter. And as such, it's becoming more problematic because it's as if people are no longer having the financial capacity to sustain themselves, to take care of the family. There was even a video I saw just yesterday. A lady in the United States of America was arraigned before a judge, and the only thing that moved me into high level emotion was when she said she and her three children she and her three children stays or always pass the night in their car, meaning whether it's snowing or normal cold, they have nowhere to go. But their car is the only thing they've got, and that is where they pass the night. And she was arraigned before the magistrate, and she has several bookings, that she does not even have up to $250 that was expected of her to pay before that car can be released back to her. But as God will have it, the judge was so magnanimous enough to use a particular fund to rescue this woman so that she can get back her car and she can get a place to pass the night with her three kids. So, with that being said, what is actually happening? If you are online and you have first-hand experience, you've seen people around across the globe that are passing through this turbulent time, this challenging period, we want you to come over and just educate us, bring a little or more of your contribution here, because we need to see how solutions can be preferred to such a menace like this, because is beginning to grow. I want to say it's beginning to grow. Okay, now I see that is whenever they say homeless, majority of the time when the homeless man, homeless women, homeless this and that, what actually comes to our mind in Africa is we are talking about the Western world. But I tell you, recent years we are now beginning to see high level of homelessness. Wow. How do I mean about that? Let me first of all educate you a little bit about Africa. The way we Africans are settled, the way we are created with this glowing mindset that nobody should be left outside the door. What do I mean by that? It means that there is a culture in Africa that there is, no matter how bad you are, somebody must be able to house you. Somebody must be able to provide accommodation for you, even if it is just to pass the night in a place that is like their security house, as in a place meant for the security men to pass the night. You will surely have. And some persons can even give you the opportunity to pass the night, or to even live for years in their father's compound. That is the culture we have in Africa. You know, when we say family house here, when we say family house or father's compound, we are referring to a building that have been erected by the family, by a particular family, and most of the time they are not even available to use those property because they have migrated from the villages to the town. And while they are going to the town also, they are also praying that what they have done to someone in the village, there should be a repay of such benefits in the town. And most of the time when they get to the town, because the town they are going to is also someone's village in Africa, some of the people are so magnanimous enough to accommodate them on the basis of what, family ties, friendship, and the likes. Wow, we have someone on ground here. Valerie Chapin. I lived in my car, station wagon, wow, for several years, summer and winter. I am grateful it had a great heater and AC. Wow, wow. I'm so glad that we are meeting with Valerie. You can see she's sharing an experience that she lived in a car, station wagon for several years, summer and winter. This is something that is very painful. I wouldn't know how other cultures see it, but as I'm seeing this, it's very painful because the last time I checked, what you guys in America, in the Western world, what you are paying as rent per month, what you are paying as rent per month, when you exchange it for what we pay as rent per month in Africa, it is like
It's
your 1 month rent can actually pay for our 1 year rent
yes, 12
or
months.
more than. Sometimes your 1 month rent can even pay for 2 years rent here in Africa. So I'm beginning to wonder, why is it like that? Why can't people actually move over from there to here that is cheaper? It is a very simple reason, because the standard of living you have over there is not commensurate to what we have here. But I tell you also, because there are no available jobs like you could have over there here. But when you have the mindset of coming to do business in Africa, you are actually going to be what? You are actually going to be able to cater for yourself, because in the world of business, you are not streamlined to a particular level of income. But anyway, whatever I've said is subject to a debate. Okay, let's listen to Valerie. Valerie is saying something nice here. The Most High brought me one step at a time. Homeless shelter at times, travel trailers. Wow. Now a good apartment. Whoa.
We're so happy for
Sure.
this.
Valerie, I'm going to hug my wife for you. We are so happy to hear this. We are so happy to hear this. And I tell you, Valerie, you are making the day for us,
Yes.
because you are actually driving home the point of where we are going to. Now, let me finish up. He said, I praise the Most High God and Son, Yeshua, for the blessings. Wow. Now, let me say this. It is becoming very pathetic that there is this growing number of youth. I'm not even saying adult now. If I include adults here, if I include grown men, family men to this, it will be so much. But let me just talk about youth. I discovered, because of the fact that we run a foundation and we are trying to empower youth, we are trying to discover youth that
Get
needed
them
help
off the streets.
in training and taking them off the street. We discover something, that the number of youths that are now living on the street in the open, my God, that are living close to swamps, close to what do they call it, refuse dump, is now
Even on
increasing.
refuge
Yes,
dump.
some even on refuse dump is now increasing per day. And I was like, what is going on? Let me tell you this. This is actually what motivated tonight's discussion. Yesterday, I'm not saying last month, I'm saying yesterday, As at yesterday, I was,
71 years old now.
whoa, Valerie is 71 years old. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Grandma.
Grandma. Wow, even my baby is clapping for you. Now, let me tell you this. As at yesterday,
Yeah,
I was, Valerie, my baby is greeting you. As at yesterday, I was, I got, day before yesterday, I got a call. There was a need for help by one of these youths. And yesterday, I went to his place to pay him a visit. I discovered that the young man was living on the streets in the open. He was homeless. He had no place to lay his head. I think I did a video of the guy yesterday. I asked him several questions, and what I found out was very painful. I discovered there are large numbers, I met large numbers of youths like himself on the street. What they do is to just spread something on the floor, and they there they go. Wow, sorry for that. And there they go, they pass the night in the open, in the cold, in the sunny period, especially Africa that is always very sunny. They
there's nothing
pass,
like a car.
there is nothing, they don't even have a car. They are living their life right under the open heavens. Okay, maybe they can get a
the way
carton
abroad
or
is still
so.
better, that you still have some
Abroad
places.
is not better. Please don't let us say that, because when you say abroad is better, you are talking of both situations are not good at all. Nobody will ever pray for such, because um, the way the weather condition in the Western world is like an open deep freezer, an open freezer, chilly cold, and someone is out there in the cold, slugging it out just because they couldn't afford to rent an apartment. Or most of the time, their credit score could not even afford them to maintain one. So it is painful, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in America, Europe, Asia, anywhere in the world. Being homeless is a phase in life that everyone that has found themselves in it, my prayer is that they have the patience, the endurance, and the favor to overcome it, because it's a very challenging moment, it's a turbulent moment, and I pray that God will give them the grace to pass through that phase and get a better phase in life. When I saw this boy yesterday, I'm probably going to play a little bit of his video, although I have uploaded a video on my channel. This will make the second boy in just less than 2 weeks that our foundation is going to be rising up to assist in training, because even what the young man was calling us for was not even to rescue him, to provide accommodation for him, because he was just asking that he was just asking, sorry for my little baby's distraction, he was just asking that our foundation provides him with training in metal works. He's into welding, metal works, that if you can help him acquire such training so that he can be able to gather money and take himself off the street. And I tell you, immediately we saw that, we took him down to where he's going to learn the metal works. We've got the costing and the likes, and the foundation is presently working on how we can facilitate that to make it happen for him. But I looked at him and I was asking him the numerous question. How do you take your bait? Based on the fact that you live in the open. Let's hold on. Let's read from Valerie. There are too many youths homeless, taking drugs. Nobody to help. I helped them. All I was able. Several got off drugs and in good life now. It was beautiful. Wow. I think, Valerie, you are a very lovable person, and now I wish we can be friends with you. We love you because your age is talking about experience that we will love to borrow from. I and my wife and some good persons are running a foundation here. Please, we would like to know more about how you have been able to affect the lives of these youths. And permit me to say this, it will not be out of course if you can just chat us up on WhatsApp. I wouldn't know if you can chat us up on WhatsApp. We would like to write a story. We would like to see a video of what you have done, and we would like to do a video presentation of somebody like you, because by the time one person from America, another person from Africa, another person from Europe, another group of person from Asia, by the time we begin to spread the light of love, of help to the people that are passing through challenging periods in life, let me tell you what is going to happen. The world is going to start glowing. The world is going to start glowing in happiness, in joy, and we'll be able to rescue a lot. And let me tell you, there was a particular youth that I was also chatting out with. This boy was in the open. In the process, I got to discover that he also smoked. And I think it is one of the challenges of this young boy, this young chap, when they are left in the open like that, when they are left with to mingle with strange people with different characters, some of them with lack of proper upbringing, lack of values, lack of cultural proper home training and the likes, they tend to turn wayward, not because they wanted it to be so, but because of peer pressure in an open space where nobody even is thinking about them. Let me take a break as we have Madam Claudia. We have Madam Claudia here. It says, greeting everyone. After slavery, 20 million pounds sterling, after slavery, 20 million pounds sterling was given by Queen Victoria, Elizabeth's grandmother, to return the slaves back to Africa. Madam Claudia, what happens to that money? You just need to complete that story.
Madam Claudia, you just all these things happened on paper, and that's why the inequality here in Africa, the inequality gap is so wide. Somewhere in Nigeria, when you go to there are developed areas in Nigeria, like there's a place we call Lekki on the island. You will see houses, mansions that people are not living in. It's just only the megad that will be there. They're well furnished houses. The owners of such houses have siphoned different government money and different money. They are out of the country, but they've secured those houses for just securing sake. And you see many, you now go to the highly populated areas, you see youths there dying on the streets, nothing to help them. But the inequality gap is so widespread because people are just all about themselves. If people can just be like Madam Valerie like this, or even you yourself, Madam Claudia, that is helping us with the African youth work in the foundation here in Nigeria. So many great minds reaching out to us. It's not that you've gotten all it takes, but at least just reaching out. I think the world will be a better place. Mhm.
The funniest stuff is that the last Christmas day, we set out to feed the less privileged in our community. And we got to a point, we got to a point that we could not hold it further. Why? We got to a place and we discover literally these people were homeless. They were living on bare lands. All they could just do was to muster papers and nylons to cover their head and to call the place home. And they were glad because somebody out of nowhere decided to remember about them by giving them live chicken to feed their family on Christmas Day. Now I'm beginning to wonder if we all continue to stay in our beautiful homes, beautiful houses, and we do not think about these growing populations of people that are becoming homeless by the day, either because they are losing their jobs, they are out of skills that are needed in the present period, or due to sickness or some unforeseeable loss that they have made in their business transaction that has rendered them homeless. What will be the fate of humanity? What will be the safety rating of our lives? Because every day we have these people, every now and then we have these people growing in their numbers, and they are all around us. I think the best thing we can do is to extend the olive tree or the olive palm of love, kindness, empathy, and support to them. Most of the time, all they just need from us is to sell simple ideas to them that can take them off the streets. And where it is possible for us to have a building that can house these people and lecture them on how they can make income little by little till when they will be able to successfully get even a smaller place for them to stay, I think it is really, really worth it. Madam Claudia says, instead of sending us back, wow, to Africa, the slave masters took the money and invested it in Wall Street. Jesus. Insurance companies and big banks. Wow. Can you imagine that? This is what I call man's inhumanity to man. Why would somebody do that? It's very, very simple. The corruption we are talking about today that is killing Africans was actually introduced by those that are not of the African descent. And it was bought by Africans. It was used to manipulate Africans to turn us into what we call corporation. Last week, I laughed when I saw a documentary and a particular elder statesman, or let me say a particular man, was saying this. He said, why do you think they call dead bodies corpse? I was like, what? Why? He said, corpse simply means that when the person is alive or was alive, is a corporation, that every human being is owned by the system of government that are themselves in place. So that's why every human being in a country are treated as a what? As a corp, as a corporate entity, as a corporation. Wow. That was the first time I started looking at it that this is making sense. Corporation, then when the body is dead, you call it corpse. Okay. That aside, but what is actually happening now? That money is beginning to fill the world. I think I have someone here also. Jim Barak is here. Wow, I like this topic. Lovely. Jim, welcome on board. Now, when you talk about, okay, I will send the link very soon now. When you talk about homelessness across the world, across the globe, it's happening in Africa, Asia, in America, Europe, and the rest of the world. If this trend is growing, and we are also having economic reports across the globe that the economy of numerous countries are appreciating while some are also dwindling, then we begin to ask ourselves whether the economy is rising or not. What is actually responsible for this growing number of homelessness that the world is recording? Let me send out our invite for people to join us in the studio. In case you would like to join us in the studio live as we discuss this, this is the link. Kindly join us. Kindly join us live. Now, the other day, it was also reported. This is the link for anyone that wants to join us in the studio. The other day, it was also reported that the number of street pilfering, that is, street urchins, the number of street urchins on the streets of UK, did I pronounce it well? United Kingdom, street of London, that the number of street urchins on in the United on the street of London is increasing, and that was the first time I'm seeing people robbing wristwatches from passerbys, attacking people in their cars. Why? Because we have failed as a society to look at some endangered species. When I mean endangered species, I do not mean to bring down anybody. We are looking away from the fact that so far people continue to remain, Jim, so far people continue to remain on the streets, to live on the streets, to be homeless, they will be exposed to a hazardous lifestyle. Jim, what do you have to say about this? Jim, you are muted.
I am so sorry. I can ascertain that globally speaking, which your topic I think is really a great. I like the way you framed the whole way you put this, um, the way you introduce the subject, because it really is now all global. So when your question was exactly about the homelessness, um, I could only imagine that it's 10 times greater than what it is here. I I I could only imagine that, but I don't have any facts for that. But because you live there, maybe you could give me a little help on that. But right now in California where I live, there is absolute hyper food inflation going on. It's absolutely insane. We've had cheeses. I mean, I don't eat cheese. You guys know that, but we've had cheeses, vegetables, all types of grains, double in the last since the time I've talked to you guys. It is
Hmm.
it's hitting America very hard, and the stock market kind of is messing around still, and all of a sudden they've got these CBDC things ready to roll out. So yeah, that's what I think you were saying, and I think that's why I was really interested to join in today. So thank you.
Wow, wow. Now let me quickly state this. The number of youths that I am personally seeing living on the street. When I mean on the street, I'm talking of the road, the roads, the major road, the street corners, beside parked vehicles, on the waste bin. The numbers are growing tremendously. And I'm beginning to ask myself, what is going on? There was a particular night that I went for a vigil. I was coming back from a church vigil, and I was checking my time that, oh, it's too early to go out, to go back home at this time. But I said, let me quickly go back home. To my greatest shock, as I stepped out of the church, I saw large numbers of youths widely awake
On the street.
on the street.
I see it.
They were under the street lights, and it was like it was morning to me. But let me tell you this. Immediately I saw that, I just switched on my youthful character of playing with them and just gisting. Before I made sure that before they got to where I was, I walked towards them and I started engaging them. Oh, how can I get a bike to take me away from here? So at the end of the day, I've already broken their defense or attack mechanism. We turned out to be friends right there. I'm talking about 3:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. And I saw these youths. They were with gallons, they are trying to sell diesel and buy diesel right there in the midnight.
What is Izu? What is that word? They try to
Diesel,
buy what?
diesel.
Oh, diesel fuel.
Yes, diesel fuel.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
so can I ask you a question real quick before you go ahead? Uh, are you were you in fear a little bit?
I wasn't in fear a little bit. I was afraid of my life because that those are the threats that I envisioned several years back, that this youth might end up attacking innocent
Hi,
citizens, thinking
Victor.
they will get thinking that they will get money from such persons. But at the end of the day, because of the way I rapport with them, I discovered that those youths did not even mean any harm at the end of the day towards me. All they were trying to do is to make a living by what, selling diesel to, what's it called, all these trucks. They were trying to sell diesel to trucks and to also buy diesel from some trucks, black market settings. And it
Yeah, but
was,
if kids are selling it, that means there's somebody up above them. It's so black market, right? Exactly. Like it's so bad. It's insane. It's like out of control. Who the heck is letting kids sell diesel fuel late at night? I mean, what's going on?
no, when you are saying kids, these are
Yeah.
youths.
Youth, so
They are
like
youths
Yeah,
in their 18,
14, 15,
14,
down to
15,
11, even down
18,
to 11 and 12.
no, 14 down to 18, 25 years. They are there on the street and they live on the street. Oh my God, you really need to see the condition of this youth. You will cry. I'm going to play a video of one of the youths that I it's painful, that I chatted with yesterday. But the good thing is that this particular youth was calling for help because he needed to learn welding works. And that gave me joy because this particular youth has direction, he knows what he wanted, and is asking the foundation to support him to learn that. But let me tell you, there are hundreds of thousands, or let me say thousands of them, that are out there like that,
even to
that
social
that
vices.
have gone into moral decadence, social vices. When you are passing along such streets at night, they can attack you, they can take away your phone, take away your money, and sometimes they can even rape the women. But it's just so pathetic because the numbers are growing, and I'm seeing people of around, uh 18 years, 25, I'm seeing 30 years, I'm seeing 35 years, I'm seeing large numbers of people rendered homeless. They have nowhere to go. And if nothing is done about this, there is a limit to every suffering that every human being can pass through before they change their mind to join the bandwagon of
Yep,
criminals.
yep.
So is a very pathetic thing because
I mean,
I used to be.
when you have nothing, what are you gonna do? I mean, people that have absolutely have, you know, I don't quote the Bible or anything much, but there was a phrase somewhere. It said like to be in despair is
Mm,
a sin, because you have now given up hope if you're in despair, as a Christian would say. But I completely agree with exactly what you just said. This is out, but what I want to know is how many police are actually doing something. How much law is there? Is there anything that you could do?
mm.
It doesn't sound like you have much. That it sounds like it's out of control, is what you're saying.
Across the world is out of control. That's just the truth. It's out of control across the world because I've seen series of videos, even in the UK now, on the streets of London. There are several videos that have been sent to me that look at what is happening on the streets of London, where boys, you see youths are attacking people to the extent that there was a billionaire whose car was attacked, and they
Yeah.
tried to snatch off his wristwatch and the lights, and you see them just moving all around. Now this is becoming something unbearable to the society at large, to the world at large. And what can be done? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
if we pretend as if nothing
Yeah.
is happening,
Yeah,
this
just for all your listeners out there, here in California is out of control. The crime is rampant. Walmart is shutting down stores just because of the crime. Here in the United States and California, you could steal $950 worth of stuff out of a store and not be charged with the crime. It's
wow.
actually, yeah. So it's going on. It's um Deo is absolutely right. This is global, 100%.
Wow.
And right now, I think what most people need to pay attention to is the Federal Reserve and the. I wish Dr. Ojo was here because he has the expertise on this, but he would understand that there's these treasury bonds and these banks that are failing that just recently happened here in America, or a
That
very big warning sign that the house of cards is coming down. And they're gonna put all the stops out. They're gonna pull all the stops out and create hyperinflation and cause distress, and then try to do what they did in 1929 and just collect pennies on the dollars for all these hard work assets that other people work for.
wow. You can imagine, even when I heard about the silicon the silicon collapse, Silicon Valley's bank collapse, I was like, my goodness,
It's
this
insane.
this is going to have a spillover effect that nobody can easily ascertain until
Right.
it's
The
been.
next day, Credit Suisse had to consolidate, and now Deutsche Bank got hit hard too. Uh, I mean, this is bigger than Lehman and Bear Stearns. This is bigger. This is bigger than that. This is all the Silicon Valley guys that have all their money tucked away in a little tiny place, that nobody really knows about. I never heard about SVB Bank here in America. Nobody ever told me that because I don't follow the stock market. But you know, what a bank that little unnoticed. I thought like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or something like that. Okay, if it happened to that, I would be like paying attention to it, of course. But of a small little bank like that they say the 16th biggest bank in of America, okay, that got like a huge high ratings and stuff, all of a sudden can't sell their treasury notes to cover their butt at the end, and Janet Yellen comes back in the next day and says, "Oh, well, we're going to cover all the depositors," and she's handing out little chocolate chip cookies right there, and everybody's like yum 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 and doing nothing.
You know what? I'm trying to share the documentary video. Maybe after this stream, you can watch this documentary video and kindly help us share this documentary video of the young guy that I met with yesterday. Is homeless. Let me just play a little bit of his video here so that you see what we are talking about. It is not something of Africa alone now. It is something across the globe, Asia, America, Europe, name it, Africa, anywhere in the world. A lot is happening. People are losing their homes. People are not able to take care of themselves. The noised famine is already around the corner, and I pray that something is quickly done. That something is quickly done to address this. Madam Claudia says
No,
that's why.
you ought to read
Okay,
this.
Madam Claudia says the slave children was never compensated for the atrocities of the transatlantic slavery trade. Wow. Then That's why we are suffering in the United States and other Western countries. How I just pray that everything is settled in the African continent, within the African continent, so that
They
our
can
brothers and
come back.
sisters can start coming back home, returning back home little by little. Because I tell you, there is something that is happening very soon in Africa. I can sense it, I can see it, and I can feel it. Something is going to happen very soon in Africa. Africa is at the last edge of the packs of trouble, especially Nigeria. We are at the last fight. That once this last fight is won, a lot of people will beg. A lot of people will beg their way through to become a citizen of Nigeria in Africa. I can say this because what has been going on presently, if I open my mouth to tell you, you will ask yourself the question, why and how possible is it for people like us to still be smiling? Because when you talk of financial crunch, it's going on presently.
Thank you for saying that. It's
It's going,
how
it's going,
important. That's very important that you said that you keep smiling. That brought
yeah.
joy to me. Thank you so much for saying that, because I it's really like, what? I can't believe this stuff, and people do not have an understanding of this around the world. That what is going on, what you're dealing with, is it's mind-boggling. People don't get this, and that's I thank you for saying you still are holding your light. I appreciate that.
You know, the first thing we do most of the nights now, we have a dance session. The whole
Their
family
children.
with our
See
children,
how they
we dance almost every night. Why? Because
It's a therapy.
the pain are too much, and no matter how strong you think you are, you need a therapy of laughter, a therapy of smile, and another therapy that we have discovered as couple is the therapy of when you are going through pain, don't over concentrate on your pain. Try to go out there, see the pain of others, then you will appreciate God that, oh, I still have a roof over my head. I still have a place to call, shelter. I should have been in this position. I could have been in that position. It could have been worse than that. People are not having money to send their children to school. a lot of a lot of families now couldn't send their children to school. A lot could not even, what am I talking about? You cannot even pay for your own transportation. That's what is happening in Nigeria now as we speak. There is no money in circulation. It is easier to access the foreign currency, foreign dollars in Nigeria than to access our own country's currency. Let me tell you, we are buying our own currency the way we buy Forex now. Quote me anywhere. You can do a screenshot of this video and say a young couple in Africa is lying to the world. I want to fact check. Presently in Nigeria, as at today,
As of yesterday, you bought.
as at today, it's still happening
Yesterday,
today.
you bought.
Yesterday, I bought
25th of March 2020.
yesterday, 25th of March 2023, I bought 2,000 naira Nigerian currency with 400 naira. We buy our own currency now. I'm saying
It's absolutely insane. It's
no, wait,
absolutely insane.
you
I
don't
mean,
understand.
what the hell? I mean, this is just, and I'm not even smart. I'm not even like a smart person. But this just makes it just, why? What is going on? What
You
is it
don't even know
it's going to
the pay,
take?
and you
Wait,
can't access
wait,
your
wait.
money
You
anyhow.
can't access your money. Let me tell you, Jim is saying this is absolutely insane. Do you know that when I got that 2,000 naira,
You will
when I
spend it
bought
as
that
if it's
2,000 naira with 400 naira, That is, I want to collect my own money, 2,000 naira. They would have removed 400 naira out of that money. I was also very grateful to God that I was able to
To
get it
touch
cheap.
it.
Yeah, just to
It was
get
cheap.
it. Yeah.
Before it was 600 naira.
It was cheap because before it was 600 naira. Every 1,000
Oh, that's
buy.
terrible.
See
Buy
what
it
I'm
with
saying.
300 naira.
Please, I want this video to go viral. Let people say maybe what I'm saying is a lie or not. Before now, before yesterday, we used to buy our 1,000 naira note with 300 naira
Or 400 naira.
or 400
I bought it
naira.
with
She
400
bought it
naira
400
before.
naira before.
I'm not
So that
mistaken.
means that if I want to buy 2,000 naira note, that means before I buy food, I will have to first of all go and buy my money, buy my
And
currency.
there are some things you can't do any transfer.
My
for.
goodness. And when you say online transfer, people are telling you no. The ones other people transfer to them, they couldn't get it several days. They are not taking transfers.
You just be like, right
So-
now you have to go and be planting the rice.
Let me tell you something. Even sometimes when you eat once per day, you are just so happy. You just thank God that, oh God, I can feed my family once or twice per day. Oh, GP, I'm doing great. I mean, you're a big boy. So when people like us are smiling, the whole world is supposed to stand up and say, you guys, you have really tried, because there is nowhere in the whole wide world what Nigerians are passing through. Nowhere in this whole world what Nigerians are currently passing through, there is no citizen in the world that will be at peace as we are.
Correct.
Because
Absolutely
while-
correct. 100% correct.
while everything is still happening, we are even turning it to jokes. We are even turning it to jokes. Why? Because we don't want, there's another joke that says, I don't want to die before my time. you know, you help yourself by introducing self-made, home-based, Africanicious Nigerian therapy of let the laughter continue. You understand? So, and it's just so funny. It's just so funny. To now crown it up, you get outside there, you now begin to see people living on the streets, and the few people that are in their homes, you see different eyeballs looking at you as if these ones, they have the opportunity of living in a house. If it's possible for them to even rough and you get something from you, we should not increase this number of homeless. I pray God give us the strategy to adopt to reduce this number of homelessness that is growing across the world. Madam Claudia says there is a reason why they are killing the Nigerian dollar. That's really Nigerian dollar. It's called Naira. Madam Claudia, it's called Naira. So the Nigerian Naira is becoming more expensive to purchase more than even our food. Yeah, because you have to go and queue to buy the Naira. They now start queuing to buy the food. But I appreciate God for someone from Austria that sent us planting vest. We have started we have started planting our own pepper now, so that let's see, the next 3 to 6 months we can start having our homegrown homegrown food, because this is becoming
What's so funny? You guys keep laughing about Choke. What's so funny about the growing of the food? What's so funny?
so
What's so
let-
funny?
let me-
Like you don't think it can happen or something?
It's high time everyone adopted that strategy now, because that's what is working now. That's why it's so funny. Because
Whoa, Rennie says thank you for your videos. Wow, thank you so much, Rennie. Okay, you say something.
yes, it's high time everyone adopted that strategy now, because before you know it, now maybe there will be no
food anywhere. So we have started planting our own stuff. We are waiting for it to grow. And I'm asking myself,
How long will it
how
grow?
long will it grow? Every morning we go there, we try to water it and like this thing grow up fast.
So that we can start seeing pepper. Jim.
And I'm glad I say study natural resources of Nigeria. Yes, yes. Okay, before we go further, I just want to take time out. I want us to see this video about this homeless youth that we discovered just yesterday. Okay. Today's story is about a young man by name Alpha. Alpha was from a village in Bayelsa State, Nigeria, West Africa. He decided to leave the village in search of a better life for himself in the city of Lagos. But he only ended up living on the streets as an homeless youth. This is what a lot of youths in Africa, especially Nigeria, are going through. And just like most Nigerians, his search for a way out of poverty took him to the church. Luckily enough, it was through his church pastor that he came in contact with Cetrus Foundation. Cetrus Foundation happens to be a foundation dedicated to empower youths that are indigent but diligent. Kindly listen to his story.
My name is Alpha Obi. I'm from Bayelsa State, Lobia local government, Tukutintan, Uguta Compound. My mother gave birth to 6 children, but I came out in polygamy family. My mother and my father gave birth to only I, but my father gave birth to other 2 children with another woman. I'm the last born of my mother. So I finished my school in 2010. But after I finished my school, my parents could not offer me, could not afford my education anymore because of there's no money. And I've been struggling in the community, but could not make it. So a friend of mine called me to come to Benin, and I took that step to come to Benin. After I come to Benin for a job, I did not get the job. So I changed my mind to come down to Lagos State. So when I came at Lagos State, I was struggling on the streets. So I get a job where we produce color, anything color concerning plastic. So the life is so very hard. I could not make it, and I know that with that factory work, I could not be able to save money to take care of myself. I could not afford myself my education, and after I work from hand to mouth, at the end of the day, I cannot save anything because of payment, because of credit I'm owing. So a friend of mine introduced me to Central Foundation. It's okay. I'm interested in that. And he asked me, what do you have in your mind to learn? I said, I've been learning welding before something came up before I stopped welding. So I have the interest to learn the welding or to continue my way I studied. So and he said, okay, and he take me to the office.
Okay, so I will just stop it here. The young man that you are seeing on this stream, after discussing with him, his interest was in learning metal works, welding, and he was so passionate about it. And look at where the young boy is staying. Look at where he stays, in an open kiosk. He took permission from the owner of that kiosk, who happens to be a food vendor. This in the open is where he stays. And when I was asking him where does he take his bath, where does he go to toilet and the likes, you will see him talking about pointing to Ross, the in short, just an opposite bush around the corner. That's where he does. My goodness, I don't even know what to say. And painfully enough, it's just that I have to ask, see where they use as toilets sometimes. I had to ask him, I had to ask some youth because I met some other youth there. I had to ask them to please move away so that the camera doesn't show their faces to the world, because they might not actually like that, because they were much there. There were much youth there. This particular kiosk you are seeing, there are much youth there. I'm talking of youth that are above 18 years of age. Majority of them, they traveled from their villages down to the city center, because uh, in Nigeria, for example, majority of the best opportunity can be gotten here in Lagos. So they travel down to Lagos, just like you have so many African youth traveling to the UK, traveling to America, thinking, oh, I'm going to have a green pasture. They were thinking Lagos is going to be a very green pasture for them. They travel down here only for them to see the reality of life, that Lagos is not like their village. Because if it were to be an African village, they can never be homeless. You will see villagers, you will see people that do not even know them, will say, what? You cannot sleep outside. Come and sleep in this particular hut, sleep in this place. But here in the city, nobody give a damn about you. Nobody is interested in you not being. So it was very, very painful. A lot of them came to the city, and it is now so shocking to them to see that the life in the village is actually not the life in the city, because majority of them ended up working in factories, and those factories, they have no provision for them. They pay them peanuts, and they don't have anything like housing benefits. There is no place for them to pass the night, and these chap are just wandering here and there. Okay, let's look at what Madam Olami just said. Okay, Jim is right. Planting your own food is inevitable because of what has been done to most of what we all eat, even in countries where it's available. It's wise to know the source of what you eat. Yes, it's wise. And let me quickly say this, Madam Laumi. You know, while I planted this, but those seed that I planted, I was now asking myself questions that why is it taking long for this seed to grow? And not too far away, I have some persons that they are
Yes.
planting, and in like 5 days,
Days.
in 5 days, you will see what's the
On
name
the
of
street,
their
yeah.
stuff is grown
Spring
already.
onions.
Spring onions is growing like
As
this. In 2 weeks, I'm seeing spring onions, and I'm like,
different things.
wow. I was now telling myself, wow, so these people might actually be using chemicals that will speed up the rate, because it's not possible. It's just too much. Within 5 days, within 2 weeks max, you might just see them that they cultivated the land now.
Now
They
we
just
do see
cultivated the
them all
land.
the
We
time.
see them. They cultivated the land. Then in 2 weeks, you have seen spring onions. Everything is grown.
Not
You see-
even up to 2 weeks. And the
I'll-
person,
I'll
they
be
were not
asking
even
myself,
friendly.
Can I give you some advice on something?
yeah,
Okay, so the fertilizer aspect. This is a very interesting quality to growing plants. So the best way, the cheapest way to get fertilizers is what you do is you make a big compost pile. You get one of those pallets, those cheap pallets, like a pallet, like a shipping pallet, and then what you do, I have my compost pile has a chicken wire all around it. So I got chicken wire, and I filled it up with wood chips at the start, some compost left over from vegetables, and then I got some worms, and I let that pile grow. Now here's the trick. What you do is you got to get the runoff. You water the compost pile, and all the nutrients come out of the compost pile, and you use that water to water your plants. So you can get natural fertilizer, but you got to get a really good compost pile started. You got to get some worms. Worms are the key to it. If you guys got worms there, right?
when you say worms, earthworms,
Earthworms, correct. Yes.
wow. I wouldn't know how to get how to get that.
You don't have earthworms
No,
in your
we
soil?
when you say we have, I'm in the city. We are in the city. In the village,
Correct.
it's very
But yeah,
easy to
but you don't
get
you don't see them
earthworm.
you don't see them in your, like here, if it rains for a few days, worms come out of the ground. And then you can find them, and then I just add them into my compost pile. So you don't have worms like coming out of the ground if it rains or something?
Yeah, because majority of this place where we are is what's it called? Um, tiled. We have interlocked tiles,
You don't
but
really have access to the
we don't have
soil.
access to the soil
That's
around us here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just get yourself some earthworms, and you can find them. I'm sure you can find some earthworms. Somebody's
I
got to
will,
have some earthworms. And just
okay.
start a compost pile, and it's basically tea. So you're basically
What do you
you can take.
mean by compost pile, please?
Okay, so like what I do is I start off with wood chips. I have like a wood chipper, and I chip my wood, and so I let the wood pile sit for. It took me a long time, guys. This takes 2 years. So, but it's never ending. All the energy I need, I could start new beds with these worms now, because I have what, like a culture, like a sourdough. When you make a sourdough bread, you could save a little bit of that sourdough bread uh, starter, and you can make more sourdough from it. That's what earthworms are like. So they could spread out. So basically, you just start off with like your kitchen compost scraps. You mix it with wood chips. Keep it watered, keep it moist. Try to keep it will build up temperature as it gets heated, because it will break down. And once you get that started, you can actually just take 5-gallon bucket and drill holes in the bottom. And once you got a nice little mix of compost going that's a little bit black, you can start pouring water through it and make your own tea. And that tea, that earthworm and compost tea, will actually be the best fertilizer you've ever used on plants.
Wow, wow. So let me ask, I'm asking this as a layman that wants to see how I can grow food at home to help my family because we are in a serious situation. I don't want to call it a mess now. Now, the earthworm, is it going to die in the process?
No, never. It never dies. It's amazing. It's the most incredible. The earthworm, if you actually, like, you were digging through it and you accidentally cut one in half, it makes
No.
another earthworm from each one. It separates and makes two earthworms. So you can't
Whoa.
even kill it like that. Um, it's their poop that is so valuable, because what
Oh,
they do is they break down the soil's micronutrients. They break down all the anything that a plant gives off in the root system. I- you know
hmm.
these things are fed by earthworms, and so I could show you outside. Let me go look, if you want to see my earthworm
Yes, please.
farm.
Yes,
Okay,
please,
hang on a
because
second.
we need
I
that.
can show you. Yeah, let me show
Okay.
you. Hang on. I'll turn my camera on here. Second. Um,
Okay. Why you
yeah.
are trying to show us? Rainy says, I would like to donate something. I am watching you on YouTube. It doesn't give me an option. Okay. So Rainy, this is our GoFundMe account. You can support us via this GoFundMe account. We really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. And Madam Jean Claudia says, Jean, I spoke to Dr. Ojo a few minutes ago and he said to give you a big shout out. He's on duty. I cannot be live tonight. Okay. So,
Okay. So yeah, we had a lot of rain. We've had a lot of rain this year. Here's the field across from my house. It's
whoa,
just been filled up. You
whoa,
guys can see the ocean there, right?
whoa, whoa, yeah.
Okay. And anyway, but yeah, so here's my compost pile. Guys, it's right there. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. And so inside, Let's see if I can get a worm out. Let's see if I can get a worm. Oh, look right there. See, see it right there.
My wow,
You see it?
wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
right there. And inside this pile is about 85 degrees. And look, it's just black, right? You see it?
okay,
And so this is what you need. Coffee grounds is one of the best things you could use for composting.
wow,
If you have anybody who's a coffee drinker, save all the coffee grounds. Get all the coffee grounds. I have another pile of wood chips right over here,
wow.
and then I keep all this right, and this has already got. It's pretty hot too. Look at it. Just the wood chips alone, right? I
Wow.
collected these wood chips. There was a guy cutting down a tree, right? And
Okay.
he had a big thing, and I had it put in my garage, and I still got a big pile of it in my garage. But you guys, you could take this and like, I have just a little tiny garden right here with some kale, celery. You guys see
Wow.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Wow.
some, and I basically just took these two celeries, from the grocery store
Hmm.
and, just planted them in the ground. And I got some leek, some potato. Uh,
How long did it take to get to this height?
this has been like 60 days.
Whoa.
Yeah, a couple
Oh,
months.
that's if it's 60 days, that's fair enough. Because the one I'm
It
growing,
goes fast though. You wouldn't believe it. Once you start growing and you have
hmm,
other stuff coming behind it, it goes really fast. You won't
wow,
believe it.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Um, once again, here's a view of where I live. You guys see that?
Wow, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, there's a bird. Look at the birds flying up in the
wow,
sun.
wow.
Look at that. Look at that bird. That's pretty
This,
cool, huh? Do you guys see that?
yeah, very well.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see from what we are saying here, um, it will
Oh,
be
here's the
very
kitchen. Here's my kitchen scraps I throw out my window, and I throw the coffee grounds over the top of it. And I've got a big bed of wood chips down below. And so all I do is let this rot down. I step on it, and then I clean it up like once a week. And then I
okay.
put it over into the compost pile and add some more wood chips over the top. As
Well, I
long
think
as you got wood chips is a really good thing because it adds a lot of nitrogen. And then you just take a whole bunch of it out in a bucket and you put it in a 5-gallon bucket and you put some holes in the bottom and you pour water through it and you can get a ton of that nutrients right out of the compost. You know what I'm trying to say?
okay. Okay, because presently I'm also we are also at the foundation. We are using this opportunity to understudy. We are understudying what we are planting so that we can learn from it and use that to also educate our youth on how to go
Right.
about setting up gardens at home so that they can take care of some needs, some basic needs, just like one of our die-hard friend that sent us these seedlings and the likes has been telling us to do. We are really, really learning a lot and putting our best to get same results. And presently, we started seeing some of those things that we planted coming up. Now, back to our discourse for the day. The number of youths that are littering the world, being rendered homeless, the number of people across the globe that are being that are rendered homeless is on the increase. I wouldn't know how we can talk about this in the Western world in America, but here in Africa, I feel one of the greatest challenge, one of the greatest problem is that there is this rural urban migration that is totally uncalled for. Had it been that resources are made available in the rural area, but because resources are the basic resources are not made available in the rural areas. This is forcing majority of the people, our youth, to leave the rural area, to run down, to clog up the city centers, and that is highly pathetic. If you're an African, or if, let me say African, because I wouldn't know the settings of the Americans in terms of rural urban migration. But if you're an African, please, let's pause the level of migration to the urban centers, because the real food security lies in the rural area, and it is high time we reduce this level of homelessness that is happening in the urban centers, because a lot of people are running away from the rural area, from the villages where the land is truly green. You can imagine. Jim is asking me if I have seen earthworms. I've seen earthworms before, but in the urban centers now, there are not. It's not everywhere you see worms, and all the likes. Majority of these things are very readily. I remember whenever I travel to the villages, I see all these things up there, and you see things growing easily. Please, I'm using this opportunity to appeal to our fellow Africans that are in the villages. Some of these things you are looking for, some of these things that you are looking for in the city centers, you can actually get them in the rural areas. And all I'm just praying is that the security of this country improves, so that I can start back my travel, my traveling back to these villages, because presently I really want the foundation to go back into massive farming. We want to develop youth that are going to be interested in this farming of a thing, so that we can reduce the number of rushing down to the rural, to the urban centers. It doesn't make sense. Please, before you
What
jump.
brings more security other than knowing you have a meal? And to think that if you put the work in to grow this food, and then you get to eat your work, you get to eat your work. It's a great feeling, and it's also known scientifically, 100% proven, that when you grow your own food, you get more nutrition from the food. It's your connection to the earth. It's your life. It's your connection with eating the food that, minerals come from the ground. Okay. And we're looking at nutrients that just build up into these plants. And because this beautiful thing called the sun gives us a photosynthesis, we get to absorb minerals, and we need these minerals. And there's a thing called phytochemicals. Phytochemicals are known to be that ward off diseases and keep your body healthy. So everybody knows this. This is why science is always targeting, like, beets, for this, and now on commercials on this, everything's an algae green juice and smoothie, this, that, it's you know what? Because the allopathic medicine industry is giving up, because they can't keep up their big pharma lie anymore. And they know that the homeopathic approach to nature is a true resonance of what we call health. And they also know that the big old, thingy they stuck in people's arms is also a big lie. And you know what? Pharma's been losing money forever. They have lobbyists. And to think that we're all sitting around here in America, at least, we're paying taxes for these people. We actually pay into the system, and we're doing damage to ourselves while we pay for it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was my rant on that one.
Okay. As we wrap up tonight's live stream, though we started so late, it's already past midnight here. Let me state this. Madam Allow says, I'll break it down, Jim. Get a large empty container like a bucket, compost pile. Start with wood sawdust. Throw in your leftover food like banana peel, food
Yeah.
leftover, etc.
And you
dig
need to
up
get a worm. Yep,
dig
you
up
got to get some worms.
Okay.
If
I
you
will.
don't,
I will.
if you don't got worms, it's really not going to work. You
Okay.
need the worms.
I'm going to get worms. Then, whenever you find soil, take it home in a jar, throw it in your compost bucket. You know what I did?
Yes.
Before now, I bought what's it called? Manure. I bought manure from
Okay, now
some guy.
watch out for manure. Now listen, this is a problem. Manure will terribly make it hard for seedlings to grow. Manure is what they call hot fertilizer. Okay, you guys, I've been doing this stuff. I know this stuff really well, up and down. Remember, I told you I own a hydroponic company. I know about plants. Okay, so manure, okay, horse manure, chicken manure, uh, cow manure. They're called hot. What they mean by that is that it's a hot fertilizer. So in other words, if you're going to use it, you have to break it down into compost by the ratio of about 10% manure to about 90% compost. Manure is good, but if you start mixing it into the soil and you don't know what you're doing, you'll burn the plants. That's why they call it hot, because it burns. It's too rich. It's too hot. So you have to be very careful with manures. I recommend
Okay.
highly that when you use manures, keep them concentrated. Take from your concentrated manure pile or whatever you get your source from, but make sure you blend it. About no more than 20 to 80. I mean, after 20, it's that stuff's hot and it will burn plants and it messes up the pH in the soil.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so very much. So she says compost pile is made up of anything that can break down easily and turn black soil. Remember, dust to dust. Okay. Thank you so very much. And at this point, I want to be appreciating every one of us. Rainy says, God, we thanks. Rainy was asking of our, what's it called? GoFundMe links. Thanks that you've seen that. Then, Madam Claudia, Jim, lovely garden. Wow.
Love you, Madam Claudia. Love you.
Somebody is preparing for your garden already.
I
Okay.
love, I, yeah, I love, mwah. Madam Claudia, I love you. Mwah.
Got to plant to survive in this perilous time. Seriously, we've got to plan to survive in this perilous time. And that's why I'm shouting out to our African youths that are in the villages. Please, no need of running to the city centers. Is much hard to feed here in the city centers than in the villages. Please do not come to add to the number of homeless youths, homeless people roaming the streets of Lagos, or uh, African youth traveling across Mediterranean Sea looking for greener pasture, in which you end up on the streets of some foreign countries that might not be welcoming. Please, let's try to put our hands together. And if you are a youth listening to this live stream and you are going through challenging moments, you want to learn a skill or two, please reach out to us. And it's so nice that we even have somebody like Jim that can help to train some of these our youth in agriculture. Please utilize this opportunity by sending your request to us if you want to be guided on how to go about some of these things that we've talked about, so that we can reduce the number of people exposing themselves to bad weather condition and bad characters around living on the streets. Also, with this being said, Jim, we want to give us your parting word.
Okay, my last parting ways is you must be vigilant to keeping all your vegetable kitchen scraps. Don't get lazy about it. Find some other nutrients on the ground, scrape it up, get a little bucket started. Don't give up on it. It takes years to eat. That pile that you guys just saw out there is loaded with thousands of earthworms. In other words, I could take a small little portion of that and say, hey, somebody else over here is starting a compost pile. Here you go. Here's your earthworms. Boom. And now all they have to do, you see what I'm saying, guys? You got to have it. So the trick is be vigilant in keeping your kitchen scraps. You, uh, eggshells don't work in any animals' flesh doesn't work, by the way. It doesn't break down properly. But banana peels, get gusto, get the gusto, the vibration going of wanting to compost. And yes, uh, if you keep it aerated properly and you get, just, like I showed, what mine was like, it's like a wire chicken basket thing. That was about a year and a half to almost 2 years old. A lot of work went into that. It's been filled to the top and shrunk down to half 6 or 7 times. So it's concentrating its nutrients as it gets through there. And I've had rainstorm after rainstorm after rainstorm this year in California, guys. By the way, I don't know if you have seen the weather here. We have gone through a absolute worst in 25 years of living here in California. I can tell you, this is the worst winter I've ever seen here. And this is a complete opposite. All our lakes are full. Everything is full. Everything. We've flooded the valley out. There's 40,000 homes have been lost. It is out of control. And guess what? We're having another big storm coming in on Tuesday. And
Whoa.
it's going crazy. So the weather's out of control. The economy is out of control. But we're going to still focus on kitchen scraps. And trying to keep our mentality straight by saying, you know what, if stuff goes wrong, I need skills. I need to learn how to grow. And how do I keep my soil healthy is the most important thing.
Wow. Nice one. Lovely to hear that. And I wish you God's protection from the weather, because last week we discussed something about cloud seeding and the effect of cloud seeding on
I saw that.
this thing. So I want to believe it's part of what is affecting your weather condition there. And I pray that we human beings just limit the way we enforce our will on Mother Nature so that it doesn't get back at us. So please keep safe, Jim. We still need you. There are a lot of agricultural research we need from you. So from Madam Claudia, says needs a lot of water when using animal manures. Okay, that's good to know, Madam Claudia. So Madam Claudia, don't forget we have something to talk about. Okay, so from all of us at Cetros Foundation, I want to say thank you so very much. Starting from our beautiful friend that started up this live stream with us, Valerie. Grandma Valerie, I don't want to call you Grandma Valerie because I love that name. I want to call you Hot Baby Girl Valerie. You are very young. I think you are like,
so nice to see. I can't believe that. That's old school. Wow.
She's 71 years younger. She's 71 years younger. She joined us today, and I'm so sure she's very, very beautiful looking, hot Valerie. Now we also have Madam Claudia. Madam Claudia is also a small baby girl, just in her little 16 years. So we have we have Jim Barak. Jim Barak, you already know Jim Barak is an high school guy. Then we have Madam Olami. Oh, sweet 16. That's our hottest baby girl, all the way from Africa, with pointed nose, a dark woolly hair. So we have Rainy also. Rainy is nice hearing from you. So Madam Claudia said lots of love, Jim, and all on this live stream. We really appreciate you. From Dio Cetro, Joke Cetro, and Victor, we say thank you. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.